Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Glory. On this channel I make lifestyle content, vlogs. I hope to dive into fashion pretty soon, okay? If that's something you're interested in, just stay tuned. This video is going to be my pregnancy. So yes, I did get pregnant, or I was pregnant, and I've given birth now. I just wanted to come in and share my experience with you. So if that's something you're interested in, just get a cup of tea, a glass of water, and come and hear my gist. We just wanted to have that privacy of just experiencing pregnancy by ourselves together and just, you know, not worry about vlogging every day or vlogging most of the time, shuffling two channels. I just did not want that at that time. So I decided to take a break from this channel. However, I was still uploading and I was pretty consistent until my third trimester on my other channel. So yeah, I just wanted to experience my pregnancy authentically without external factors or external opinions. So that's why I took a break. Before I even start with how I found out, just know what you wish for, know what you pray for. I think about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I randomly had this thought. It happened like 3 years ago and 2 years ago at the beginning of the year. I randomly had this thought. I was just like, it would be nice for me to give birth before I turn 30, right? That was just a thought I had. Getting married and knowing that, okay, I can actually be a mom at this point. I was just like, you know, it's going to be nice. And the Lord said, I'm going to answer your prayers. So just know what you pray for and know what you wish for. My partner and I, we've been dating, or we were dating for about 4 or 5 years before we got married. So we had a couple of things to do. And so we're going out every single day or more often than we usually go out. One thing I noticed was when we're in the car, immediately we sit in the car, or I sit in the car, and maybe we drive out of the area where we live in, I'm already asleep. It doesn't matter where we are going to, even if it's the shop, even if it's the mall, I'm already asleep. And I'll sleep throughout, and it's like deep sleep. It's not one of those doze off types. No, I was deeply sleeping. I was sleeping deeply in the car. And when we got back home, I would be very tired, like I went to sell yam or hunt. I would be so tired, and I didn't understand why. What's going on? Why am I tired? I just felt about I'm just tired a bit. That was what I told myself, but my husband was giving me the side eye. He's like, okay. One of the reasons why pregnancy did not come to my head was because it was not my period date yet. Like, let's say if my period was supposed to come tomorrow, this was like 3 days prior. So I was thinking, you know, maybe it's my period, but I didn't have like any other symptoms. I just know I was tired and I was sleeping a lot. A day before, and I started noticing I was peeing a lot, which was weird because why am I peeing so much? Normally in pregnancy, you're not supposed to start peeing as much as I was peeing. Maybe I was drinking a lot of water at that time because we're up and about, and I always have water in the car, so I would always drink water. In the night, I wake up like 3 times to pee. I told myself, glory, 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 glory. I called myself 3 times. I said, you know what? Let's go and get this pregnancy test. So I went, I got the test. You know how they say, oh, wait until the night or your first pee of the day to use to check, to be exact. I'm like, you know what? Cool. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to check when I wake up in the morning. 4 a.m. I woke up 4 a.m. I went to the bathroom or the toilet. I picked up the pregnancy test. The pregnancy test I got, it's not the one that you sit down and wait. Nope. The one we have in Turkey is the one you pee on the stick. Once you finish peeing, you're looking at it, it's coming up. It's not one of those you pee, you drop it, you wait for it. Nah, I don't have patience for that. I needed to know where I was. Am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? I started having like different vroom, vroom, vroom. I saw the point where I was like, it would be nice before I turn 30 to have a child. Am I ready to have a child? Am I ready to be a mom? Am I ready to be pregnant? Like, I just had all of those thoughts as a screen in front of me. I just said to myself, you know what? If it's the will of God, pregnant. If it's not, we move. I finished peeing with my sleepy eyes. I was just like, let me see. That was when reality clicked. I was like, oh wow, I'm pregnant. Okay, cool, no problem. You know, I'm not someone that reacts. I'm not very dramatic sometimes. I'm just very calm and very, you know, I said, oh wow, this is nice. So yeah, that was how I found out I was pregnant. The funny thing is I actually found out I was pregnant very early on. That even when we went to the doctors, like to check and confirm, she said it was way too early to know. So I just knew I was. You know, usually people find out like after they miss their period or like 2 to 3 days before their period or after their period. For me, I found out before my period date. That's how I found out. If I was to rate my pregnancy journey, I would say it was a 10 over 10. Yes, I had symptoms, obviously it's pregnancy, but you know when you're pregnant, I don't know if you're pregnant right now or you've been pregnant and you watched all of those pregnancy videos, and when you hear people talk about their stories, I'm just like, I was probably on God's favorite list, because what? The things I was reading and seeing of women in their pregnancies, one thing I do whenever I see experiences or people's experiences of something I'm going through, if they experience something negative about it, I disassociate myself from that. I'm like, that was their experience. My experience is not going to be this way. That's what I do. I would advise you to do that as well. Do not pick up experiences of other people and own it to yourself. Disassociate yourself from that. So I was telling myself my pregnancy is going to be easy, it's going to be smooth, and to be honest, I would rate it a 10 over 10. The only time I know, okay, it dealt with me was my 3rd trimester, but we're going to get there. I was glowing, my hair was growing, I was flourishing, I was shining like a baby girl in my 1st and 2nd trimester. But my journey generally, I would say it was a good experience. So for my 1st trimester, apart from me getting tired or me sleeping like I went to push truck for 5 people, or me waking up to pee at night, those were literally my symptoms. I did not experience nausea, I did not experience headaches, I did not experience all the things you said when they say when you're pregnant you experience. I also got into the whole midwife tales to know the gender and everything. Honey, I was experiencing everything. Like the ones they say, oh, you would glow if it was a boy, or you would have nausea if it was a girl. My symptoms did not pick a side. They were either I didn't experience it, or I was experiencing the one that they said is for boys, or that they said is for girls. It did not make sense to me. That was why I was like, these old wife tales, they should just go and sleep with it. Anyways, yeah, so that was my 1st trimester. 2nd trimester was basically the same as the 1st trimester, but I was not sleeping as much anymore. I was able to work, I was able to do a few things. I was actually consistent then on my other channel, so everything was going very smoothly. The 2nd trimester, sometimes you even forget that you're pregnant. For me, that's what happened to me. Well, not like, oh, I forgot I was pregnant. Like, I was not showing and I was not really experiencing any symptoms. So I was just living my life. I was able to do things. I was able to walk. I was able to even go to the gym and not get tired. I was fine in my 2nd trimester. I was normal. Then my 3rd trimester came. And I started showing. It took me a while to show. I think that was one of also the reasons why no one knew I was pregnant. Like, I was just there living my life. No one knew I was pregnant. I think it was my 2nd. I can't really remember what trimester I was in, but I was showing a bit. 3rd trimester came with uncomfortable sleep. I know they always say lay on your left side. Guys, I've been sleeping on my left side since I got pregnant. I'm someone who sleeps on the side or down like this. So I couldn't sleep down anymore. I needed to sleep on the side. I feel like my left side felt it. I was tired of sleeping on the left side. I tried to go to the gym. I also tried to make sure I was working out or like even exercising at least, but I was just tired. It was ridiculous. Another thing I also experienced was, is this sciatica? I don't know how you pronounce it. Sciatica or something. I'm going to write it here. It's basically when the baby is on a nerve and it sends shock waves to your leg and like your back area. That was not a joke. I experienced that a lot. I could not even stand to make meals. My husband had to like start cooking for me on a steady because I could not stand to do anything, even to wash my hair. Pain that comes with it. And when it happens, I have to sit or change my position or raise my legs up or something. But that was one of the things that was not pleasant about my pregnancy. And during my 3rd trimester was I got skin tags. I got a lot of skin tags. One thing about me is I try to see the good in any and everything. So when I noticed the skin tags, at first I was quite self-conscious about them. I was like, why am I having skin tags? Especially with my line of profession, like being a model. You just want your face to clear up. I'm struggling with my face. Why is this one coming out? But another aspect of me saw it as I'm creating life. This is a natural symptom. This is something that comes. This is something that happens. Go with it. If it's after you give birth, if it leaves, fine. If it doesn't leave, it's just a show that you were able to bring life into this world. So that was how how I see it. Even when I do my makeup now, I'm just like, oh, these skin types are still here. It's very normal and casual for me. Another thing started in my mid-third trimester. I started getting the Braxton. Is it Braxton Hicks contractions? You know those ones where your stomach's going to be hard? Oh! But it was not painful, but it was hard. That one was very shocking to me. Like, what is this? Why is my stomach hard? Like, they said that's how contraction feels, but without pain. I don't even know if my stomach was hard when I was in actual contractions, because that was not what I was thinking about. Those were most of the symptoms I experienced. I would say I had quite a few cravings, but when I was pregnant, it didn't seem like craving. It was after I gave birth, I realized I was abnormally eating these things. So one of the craving was in my second trimester, I was craving a lot of goat meat. Why was I craving a lot of goat meat? I don't know, but I just wanted to eat goat meat with every meal. I hated the smell of turkey. Don't cook turkey close to me, next to me. Do not fry it. Let me not even inhale the smell of fresh turkey. I stopped buying turkey when I was pregnant because I just hated it. On a norm, I love turkey. Another thing I craved was agege bread. Why was I craving agege bread? Whenever I go to Aksarai, I will buy agege bread. I can finish half of it in one day. Why am I eating agege bread like a bricklayer? I don't know. Another thing that I craved, this one was towards the end of my pregnancy, was oranges. Ooh! I could eat 3 oranges in a day, eat 3 the next. It was so nice. It's so shocking to me the amount of oranges I ate in my pregnancy. But yeah, those were some of my cravings. I did gain weight towards the end of my pregnancy mostly. And one of the fears I had was dark neck, big nose. All of those things happened. You cannot even run away from it. But one thing I'm grateful to God for is that it came towards the end of the pregnancy. Like, I got the nose. You guys are going to see in my labor and delivery video. I got the nose, I got the dark neck, but it was not too bad, but it was obvious. I was stressing my husband out with this thing. Like, the person, well, just because it was more of a private experience, I feel like I stressed my husband out so much with my symptoms and complaining about my symptoms sometimes. But he was very encouraging, he was very helpful, and I'm grateful to God for that. Because what? Who else do I want to go and complain to? Be in the mirror, checking the diameter and the circumference of my nose. Because I didn't want my nose to get too big. Oh my goodness, nah, it's the funniest thing. I was such a funny pregnant woman, but tip I would give is try to work out. Even if don't work out heavy workout, trying to stay active. Not throughout the pregnancy, but I tried to stay active, especially towards the end. I was climbing steps, especially when I was having the sciatica. I tried to climb steps. I also got cranberry tea. I know they say cranberry juice is good, but I was trying to avoid as much sugar when I was pregnant, although I was eating agege bread, which has sugar. But yeah, I bought cranberry tea and I was drinking that. It was towards the end I got the fruit dates. Is it dates that they said pregnant women should eat? I got that. I don't know if it was helpful, but I was doing a lot of Pilates as well. That's some of the tips I would share when it comes to, my experience with pregnancy. If you know, I live in Istanbul, Turkey. 1, it's not an English-speaking country. 2, I don't really speak Turkish per se. I can have a conversation, not deep conversations. And this is something that was very important for me because I needed a doctor that understands English, that can explain certain things to me. One thing about Turkey, the insurance I used or the hospital I was going to, they were not really the first hospital we went to. It was an okay price. Yeah, it was an okay price to see the doctor without insurance because they said my insurance doesn't cover this. I was like, so why am I paying for the insurance? I asked them for an English speaking doctor. They said, yes, she speaks English. When you go to any hospital, they'll tell you, all our doctors speak English. When you meet the doctor, where's the English? It's the same way I know Turkish. That's the same way they know English. So it's like nobody can communicate with anybody effectively. So the first doctor we met, she was weird. It was a weird energy at first. So my husband and I, when we entered, she was nice. The first meeting, it was nice. That was when we did the scan and she saw that my sac I should come back in about 2-3 weeks. By then it should have formed. That was probably when I'll be like six weeks or so. When we came back, she was like, okay, yes, it has formed. Cool, no problem. We should do the blood test. We left, we did the blood test. We came back. She told us to do the blood test again. At first, we're like, didn't we do this blood test? She was like, no, we should do it again. I said, cool, no problem. We did the blood blood test. Mind you, my husband and I, we've already started getting this weird energy from her. We just knew this is not even going to be where we're going to give birth. We just wanted to finish up with the whole blood test and everything. She was speaking English, mind you, in all of these meetings. Like, she was speaking the small little English she knows. Then it was time for where she needed to check like a few things. I think I was like 12 weeks. She started saying things that didn't make sense to us, and we're like, what are you talking about? She first said something about her not seeing one of the arteries for the spinal cord that might indicate Down syndrome. I just said, sis, your energy is weird. That's not me. I don't know what you're seeing. Change your machine. I just told my husband, you know what? Let's just carry ourselves and go somewhere else. Then she was like, oh, she couldn't see the vein, that we should go to a perinatologist, do a checkup and everything. I noticed all of a sudden she could not speak English again. I said, okay, this is going to be the last time I come here. We had to find a perinatologist because it's better safe than sorry. We found a perinatologist at one of the top hospitals in Istanbul here. Before we even get to the perinatologist, she was like, oh, this is the gender, this is the baby, the gender is here. Do you want to know? I say yes. She told us the gender, this is his private area, all of those things. I was like, oh, cool. We're, excited. When I got pregnant, I was not like, oh, I want this or I want that. I just knew I wanted a healthy baby. I didn't have like a preference of what I wanted. I just know I wanted a healthy baby. So when she was like, okay, this is his private area, this is that, he's developing well. Before she got to the point where she said she couldn't see the vein, that was what happened. So in our mind, we're having a boy. We're excited, happy, everything normal, because both of us, we just wanted a healthy baby. Nobody was trying to have gender preference here. So we went to the perinatologist. Now he's checking. He's like, okay, so what did the doctor say? She said she couldn't see the second vein or second artery, one of those things in the spinal cord. He was looking. He's like, which hospital is this? I told him the hospital. He said, oh, do you know the name of the doctor? I said, I don't know. I'm not trying to put anybody in problem. I actually did not know. But he checked. He's like, the artery is here. Everything is fine. The baby is fine. He went. He was like, do you know the gender? I was like, yes, it's a boy. He's like, who told you that? I said, the doctor. He was like, which doctor is this? I was like, okay. When he said, who told you that? I just knew it was a girl. I just knew, because the fact that he asked that question after I said it was a boy, I just knew it was a girl. He was like, okay. We had to go back a couple weeks later for like the anatomy. Is it the anatomy scan? Or the one where they check the in-depth of the developing of the arteries there. Everything was nice. So that was the only bump we felt in this whole pregnancy journey. That lady just wanted to put fear in us. And I noticed one thing is, if you're pregnant and you don't feel good energy or good vibes with the doctor, change that doctor or request for a new doctor if it's a different hospital. For this hospital, I actually requested for a female doctor after that, and everything was fine. But the cons about this hospital, it was too expensive. They wanted me to come every week. I'm like, who? Why? And I was paying every week if I was to come every week. I said, are you trying to rob me, or what are you people trying to do here? So we knew we had to change hospitals, because that was just a very ridiculous thing. And another thing, they had a translator, very lovely lady. So we asked for how much it is to give birth. They told us the price, and then she started saying, if you want standard room, if you want VIP room, if you want VVIP room. My husband and I were like, we are only coming to give birth. Last, we'll stay one night and that's it. So what is up with all this standard VIP, VVIP? Like, I just want to give birth and go to my house. Thank you very much. Adding to the price of the delivery, I said, cool, no problem. Then she now came with the whole decoration of the rooms. I said, sister, no, it's not like, if that's what you're interested in, if that's what you want, do it. But I don't want that. I just gave birth to a baby. I'm probably trying to connect with my baby. I just told her I'm not interested in all of those things, because I really genuinely am not interested in those things. If I give birth, I'm probably trying to get myself back, trying to spend time with my baby, trying to enjoy the moment, not trying to take pictures or have a random stranger taking pictures of me. It does not make sense. That aside, literally did a research. We went to different hospitals to find out about their doctors, their prices, and if they have insurance, or if my insurance covers it, of which my insurance did not cover anything. So we had to figure out what is price friendly. The hospital was great. The doctor was really nice, very friendly, very reasonable meeting. So we said, let's go to a different branch, like the bigger branch of the hospital. We went there. The thing I loved about this hospital is the price for giving birth through natural delivery or CS was the same. The thing I read about when it came to giving birth was sometimes some hospitals, or this is my analogy, this is my hypothesis, okay? Some hospitals want you to go into CS so they make more money from it. I've seen this thing happen multiple times. And also most of the black women I know in Turkey, some of them gave birth through CS, and I was not looking towards CS. No, I wanted a natural delivery. So when they told us price for CS, price for natural is the same thing, I was like, okay, this is good. That's a good energy, good vibe. So we know we're just paying, and regardless of what happens, if I say I want a natural, I want a natural, and they would opt for that except things go south. So that was what happened, and I asked them if the doctor speaks English. They said yes, but we went late that day. So one of the doctor was around, the male doctor. There's a male and a female. He checked, he was like, okay, everything is fine. Before we went, I was already reading about the hospital, their reviews. Nice. I said, cool, this is good. You know, I'm someone who researches a lot, so I have to research about the hospital a lot. I'm in a country where they don't speak English. I need to know if anything goes south, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm nice, I'm going to be taken care of, and I'm not going to be confused because I don't speak Turkish. So website of the hospital, I read about the doctor. I went that deep into it. So I saw he had been practicing for so many years, and some of the things I was worried about, you know, with delivery, he had done research on them and all of those things. So I just felt some sort of ease with that. That was how I found the doctor, or that was how we found the doctor. It was a journey because we went to like several hospitals. During my pregnancy, I saw like 4 different doctors. When it was time for delivery, I didn't even know I was in labor, guys. I was in labor like full 3 days or 2 days without knowing. I just casually was going for my normal weekly checkup, and I got there and the doctor said, oh. I said, oh. He said, go to the midwife. I said, who? I'm going to tell you guys about that in the labor and delivery video, so stay tuned for that. I've come to the end of the video. This was my pregnancy journey. Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys are doing great. I miss you guys so much, and I hope we can, you know, pick up from where I left off. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.